Good morning, Harvest. It's been a while since I last stood here in front of you, and since then, a lot has changed. I work for a real estate tech startup called Open Door, and some Harvesters also work there as well. I graduated with my MBA, proud of that. Um, I'm dating now, but you already know that. And now I'm being commissioned as the next shepherd from the Hiroshima House Church. And if you asked me a year ago if this here was what I envisioned for myself, I would have scoffed at that idea. Because I lived for myself, and shepherding didn't really make sense. But regardless of the shepherding convictions, I continue to regularly attend house church because I enjoy the community, the vulnerability, and the accountability. So to me, it was a support system, a weekly spiritual checkup, ensuring that I didn't go off in the deep end. But to God, it was a growth system. I was challenged and stretched in so many ways, slowly being molded through the refiner's fire. And I want to be very clear that God didn't need house church to do this. Truthfully, he could have easily done without it. But I believe God wanted me to grow through house church for a couple reasons. And so when I started house church, I started with, or the people that started with me, we all started at the same time. So we started together, we grew together, we served together, we witnessed together. And God wanted me to see all of this so I could see all his grace and all its glory. And the second thing that God wanted me to go through house church for my redemption, for his purpose, was that it coincided or facilitated this season of giving, right? Giving my time, my finances, my energy to love and serve his people. And so I just came back from our Harvest Youth Retreat serving with 4 other house church members after being absent for 8 years. And so serving with brothers like Titus and sisters like Min, Joyce, and Michelle brought encouragement and affirmation that my time was spent well. But it also coincided with a season of giving up. I gave up drinking 4 months ago. I surrendered my dreams and desires. And it's not that I lost my sense of ambition, but now I'm willing to lay it down for the glory of God. And so this past week, I actually turned down a manager position in Dallas so I could steward what God has given me here. And I worked tirelessly for an opportunity like this, and I suspect many would consider me a fool, but I'm at peace with that. So friends, I just want to share just a couple or a few things that I learned as I reflect upon this past year. House church isn't just community, vulnerability, and accountability. It is a New Testament biblical church that brings believers and non-believers alike to do life together and to fulfill the Great Commission in Matthew 28:16-20. And if you don't know what it is, I'm just going to paraphrase it quickly. Jesus said to therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey everything I commanded you. And the second thing I learned was ironically, the season of giving in my life and giving up things in my life wasn't actually about giving any of those up. It was about making room in my heart, in my life, to do the good works that Jesus has called me to do. And the last thing I learned was that multiplication isn't necessary because we have simply grown too big. It's necessary so that we can bring in more lost sheep. And so now I know these revelations and these epiphanies, but knowing them is not enough. They've become my vision as I commit to being the next shepherd. And so, I guess my expectation, my hope, my prayer is that I want my house church to function exactly as the name entails, a church in a house. I want our members to continually surrender their lives to Jesus. And finally, I want our house church to live out the Great Commission and find more lost sheep. So please pray for me and my house church that this vision would come to fruition. So thank you for your love and your support.